Hi, my name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and I'm here with Keesha Boyd, Executive Director, Multicultural TV and Film, Comcast, NBCU. How are you doing this morning?
I am fantastic, Coco. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It is an honor to speak with you. You're doing some wonderful initiatives over there, and we're here to talk about the Black Experience on Xfinity. This is the 1 year anniversary, and then this is Women's History Month. There's just so much to pile on to this.
All the things, right?
All the
All the
things.
things.
This is amazing. But before we get into that, I think it's so interesting that you're a trained psychologist and you ended up in television. How do we go from psychology to television?
Oh my goodness. That is a fantastic question. One I'm still pondering to this day. But it was funny because there actually came a point, Coco, where I think I'll probably at some point revisit psychology further down the road. But the interesting part was what drew me into psychology was connecting to people. And I remember my program actually focused on race, culture, and cultural identity. And so
Mhm.
it was very much weaved into sort of the practice of psychology. And then eventually I went on to get a degree in organizational psychology. So that was it was business and process improvement and race and culture and so forth. And there just became a point where I started to feel like I wanted to lean a little bit more into that race and culture. And at some point, really access this part of me that had a real enthusiasm for content and entertainment. And the interesting part is understanding people and how they think,
Mhm.
people's emotions, how they connect, relationships, and those sorts of things are all sort of basic interpersonal skills, interestingly
Mhm.
enough, that inform pretty much any job or any role. And
Yeah.
so I still find myself using it coincidentally.
Yeah. No, I would imagine it gives you some tools, some really strong tools to use, especially in television where you're dealing with a lot of different personalities. So
Yes,
I can see where that's
to
useful.
say the least, to say the
Yes.
least.
So, I mean, let's talk about this initiative. What is it? How did you arrive at this? I know your
Yeah.
background obviously is in diversity, but let's just talk about that.
Yeah. So I think, for us, there was a point where we really wanted to sort of super serve the entertainment enthusiasm of Black consumers.
Hmm.
And we were initially doing that by, sort of curating collections and content and that sort of thing, just to make it easier for our customers to discover the content. And then there became a point where it was really critical. And I think my sort of personal passion really aligned with where the business wanted to go, which was, to really increase economic equity for creators of color. And in order
Hmm.
to do that, you really have to invest in those creators of color. You have to invest in that emerging Black creative community. And so that was really sort of the impetus of, okay, well, what else can we do? How can we leverage our platforms to do more in service of that? And that was how the channel itself was born. And so, our content is really about, licensing some of that classic, iconic classic titles that we all love and enjoy. But really, we're directing a lot of our focus and our investment in finding those new projects and new creators and fully funding those projects, and also allowing those creators to maintain the ownership of
Hmm.
their project.
Oh, they make.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I know that you all have you've pledged the $1 million towards the creative program, but
Mhm.
how does one even submit, or even how do they arrive at a place where they can even pitch their project to you?
Yeah. So some projects, as you probably know, being kind of in the business, right? There's some projects that sort of make their way around to people, right?
Hmm.
But our grant program, the $1 million grant program, which was in honor of our 1 year anniversary,
Hmm.
is a program where we're giving away 10 $100,000 grants. And anyone who is interested or knows a filmmaker should just go to Xfinity Black Experience.com and enter their email address. And then as soon as the submission window opens and all the criteria, they'll
Hmm.
get an email with all of that and that notification, and then they'll be able to apply.
So I just want to say this. I think what's wonderful about you is that you think mentorship is a very important initiative too. And I mean,
Mhm.
this everything you're doing with this, speaks to obviously what your strong values are. But just to see someone that has reached the level that you have, but they're still invested in individuals and success. Just can you talk about that? Because some people think that they just have to stand alone and just do things on their own, but that's clearly not
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah, not at all. And I think for me, part of why I've been able to navigate corporate America in the way that I have is thankfully due to the mentors I've had throughout my career. And explicitly, I've had mentors of all types, shapes, sizes, colors. Um, but I have to say it's been the Black women in corporate America in my life who've been
Mm,
extremely powerful in sort of showing me the ropes, helping me to understand how I show up,
mhm,
how to show up differently, calling me in when I needed, some of that close coaching, right?
mhm,
And then, also being a phenomenal example, right? Because if you see it, you can be it. And
mm,
so for me, I try to, really pay that back with my mentees, being an example in that way. And largely because I was actually having this conversation with a mentee just last week. I had a catch up with one of my mentees, and we were talking about corporate America and entrepreneurism. And I was saying that I'm loving this new wave of young Black entrepreneurs
mhm,
owning their businesses, becoming founders, and so forth. And I think that is fantastic. And we need to continue to see more of that. And
mhm,
in addition to that, there are plenty of folks who entrepreneur life isn't for them and they want to try, the corporate space
mhm,
and try their hand at, kind of climbing the corporate ladder, maybe being on a public board one day, those kinds of things. And you need just as many role models in that space to understand, how to navigate and how to grow and how to make connections and those sorts of things. And so I find that that's the side of the house that I'm on.
mhm,
And I'm just trying to make sure I'm, giving back to those folks who, want to kind of grow and expand and evolve in the corporate space.
mhm. I think I'm so glad you said that because I think that a lot of times we focus so much on people being entrepreneurs that there are people that really do want to work in corporate America, and that's fine. And I think that a lot of times, we almost talk down on people like, and I mean, especially on social media, there's always like this kind of like, it's almost like meme
Yeah.
culture, like,
Yeah.
I own my own business, stand alone. This, they look at you like funny for wanting to
Hmm.
sit at a desk and work.
Yeah.
But but but
Yeah.
but there's something that there's a guarantee there that it's not as unpredictable. So you're being an entrepreneur is not for everyone.
Absolutely. And I think the larger question probably that draws a lot of that conversation discussion is this discussion around generational wealth, within the Black community. And
Hmm.
that's something I think we all agree on. And I
Hmm.
think there's many paths and roads, to get there. And so as a
Hmm.
community, we should continue doing what we're doing on the entrepreneurial front. And for
Hmm.
those who aren't cut out for the entrepreneurial life or not interested in the entrepreneurial life,
Hmm.
we should, continue to strive to, be successful in those spaces as well. And there's lots of ways that you can own in the public space,
Hmm.
and create wealth so that you can invest in founders, right? Young up and
Hmm.
coming founders. To me, it all works together. And
Yeah.
so my piece is just trying to give back to the young people who are in this space, trying to figure it out.
Hmm. I appreciate you for making yourself available in that way. Again, it's sometimes you think it's really difficult to reach out to certain people, and it's you've just made yourself available. You've created this incredible initiative. It is very unique. I mean, it's this grant. It's an amazing thing. Let's just go back to that. It's xfinityblackexperience.com. So
Correct.
anyone interested in submitting would have to know, of course, meet the criteria, and all that is
Correct.
available.
Correct.
Mhm. So
Yes. And
can
so
they submit now?
they can submit their email now, and
Okay.
then when we publish the criteria and we open the submission window, they'll
Mhm.
get an immediate notification that the submission window is open, criteria is available, and then everyone will be able to review it and see if
Mhm.
they qualify. I'm
Great.
looking forward to seeing all the submissions. We've already gotten several people who've signed up at the website, so it's exciting.
No, that's wonderful. So everybody's submission will be reviewed. I mean, if they meet the criteria. So there's no it's not so
Correct.
right.
Yes, correct, if
Mhm.
they meet the criteria, and the interesting thing is we're also putting together a jury, Coco, so it'll be a jury of both, internal Comcast executives like myself, as
Mhm.
well as some external folks too, which we'll announce, in a future announcement coming
Okay.
up.
No, that
So, yes, so
mhm.
there'll be a nice well-rounded panel of individuals that are, joining to, assess the projects that come in the
Mhm.
door.
Different
Yeah.
backgrounds, so it's not just one. Okay, that's good to know too.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
We really wanna make this process thorough and, unbiased and really give everybody a fair shot.
How do you do all this and still maintain your work? You got things to do.
Listen, that's a whole other interview, okay?
How do you do? Like, I'm like, how is she doing all of this and going to work every day?
Listen, well, I'll tell you one thing. I do have an amazing, amazing team. We're
Good.
small but mighty, but my team, we manage everything from supporting content marketing to supporting content acquisition,
Mhm.
to, just day-to-day distribution, channel management, programming of the channel, and so forth. And we do that for all of our core cultural audiences: Black,
Mhm.
Latino,
Mhm.
Asian American, as well as international. And so we our head is on a swivel often. My head is on a swivel very often. But part of, I think, what keeps me going and kind of what keeps the gas in my tank is that all of this is very personal. It's very
Mhm.
close to my heart. It's
Mhm.
it's work that you can sort of palpably feel the impact of. And when that's the case, it doesn't feel like work. I
Doesn't
gotta
feel
say.
like work.
Yeah,
Mhm. And it all ties back to even to your background in psychology,
it
the
does. It sure
psychology of
does.
people.
It's a full circle.
It's a
It's
full,
really a full circle.
yeah. It
And I
doesn't.
remember I
Mhm.
remember when I was in grad school getting my degree in psychology thinking,
Mhm.
I will never be in corporate America. I'm gonna hang out my shingle, see my clients. And I did that for a while. And once corporate America started to take off and I started to see, oh, there's a world where I can have sort
Mhm.
of massive impact in different ways to help support people in the community, and that there's just lots of avenues to being able to do so, and to do that in a way that also connects with a personal passion is like the cherry on top.
Mhm. Mhm. That's wonderful. I thank you so much for speaking with me today. This is a very educational conversation. I'm excited about the initiative. I'm excited for the people that will be winning these grants.
Right, me
Yes,
too.
yes, and again, you guys, we're on a year right now of this program that Keisha came up with, and it's just amazing. I mean, look at what's going on here. She's actually allowed a space for this content to get on, Xfinity, and you did this is something. This is your brainchild.
Yeah, yeah, when I'm left idle, boy, I come up with some ideas.
Let's leave her idle, y'all. Stop piling stuff
Right.
on her.
But I got to thank Comcast for that. They've been incredibly supportive when I come to the table with ideas for how we can help support
Mhm.
and uplift our
Mhm.
Black and Brown communities in ways
Mhm.
that are connected to the core of our business, which is product and entertainment. And so those two things really kind of came together to create this channel. And now we're creating these spaces and avenues for Black creative community. So I'm
Mhm.
excited.
Exciting. Exciting. Once again, my name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and I'm here with Keesha Boyd. We're here to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the Black Experience. If you are interested in submitting for this initiative, it is Xfinity Black Experience.com. We, of course, discussed what you need to do as far as meeting criteria. Right now, you can submit your email and you'll get more information, correct?
Correct. You got it, Coco.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time, Keisha. It was absolutely an honor to speak with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
She's running things, y'all. Y'all don't know who I'm over here speaking to. She's being a little humble. Thank you, Keisha. Take care.
Thank you, my dear.
If you want to see more content like this on blackfilm.com, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell.